big old
You're better than
John.
that.
All right, we are live.
Ladies and
Hello.
gentlemen, welcome back to Bona Fide Talk. We wanted to thank all of our listeners that joined us last week for the groundbreaking introductory episode. The best part, boys, you want to know what the best part is about episode 2?
What's the best part?
So,
It cannot get any worse than episode 1. It just can't. So we
we'll find out.
Right, yeah, I guess it remains to be seen. We have already had a couple technical difficulties. This is our second take, just to be perfectly candid with you guys. But we are pretty confident that you can hear all of us today. So welcome back again. And just wanted to go ahead and reintroduce our co-host today. We have the silent killer, Blake Manzer. We have
Stealthy.
Brian Eduardo Edwards. He goes by quote unquote Brian. And we have Cameron Campbell. But real quick, guys, I wanted to go ahead and mention we have a extra guest on our show today. And I wanted to go ahead and introduce the latest, Cameron's Fade. Cameron's Fade, welcome to the podcast. So to all of our YouTube listeners, check it out. Cameron's modeling it for you right now. Cameron, real quick, to get us started, tell us about the haircut, dude. Give us a little description.
dude, Judy down at American Barbershop knows what she's doing.
Right.
That's a fact. First time going there.
Shout out.
And I'd say she killed it. This was yesterday. Usually I don't like haircuts after the first day, but she killed it.
I mean, that's a line. Like, it's lined up. It's to a T. Dude, it looks sharp.
Skin fade. I'm digging it.
Right on. So YouTube listeners, you can see my mop that is sitting on top of my head, and the other guys too are just looking sharp. So maybe I'll go and see Judy sometime.
What's the goal with your hair? Are you growing it out for any reason? You trying to get a mullet in there?
Right.
I think you should get a mullet.
I am so glad you asked me that question. Yes, I am growing out my hair, right? And I actually am working on a mullet. Thank you for setting me up for this one. This is T-ball Homer right here. So yeah, dude, I actually been growing out my hair. So when the quarantine started back in March, so like there were 2 months, a month where like you could not go and get a haircut anywhere. So I kind of made that executive decision during that time frame that, you know what, I can't go get a haircut. So I'm just gonna grow it out and see what happens.
Let it flow.
Let the lettuce grow, man. There was no like nothing bad was gonna happen from growing it out. You know, no one's going to the office, no one's going out in public or whatever. So I kind of just like bought into that and just kind of let it flow. So the mullet, like the way my hair grows is it just grows really like it mops up on top and then it grows steady in the back. So like I was born with the ability to grow a mullet, straight up business in the front, party in the back.
Damn,
exactly.
What a gift.
Right, nice. It's a gift. Anyway, we'll close up shop on the hair talk here. I know all of our audio listeners couldn't give a shit less about our haircuts. Real quick though, Manzer. So I'm gonna give you a little shot at redemption here to go ahead and just give us a really quick introduction on yourself. It was funny because last week our listeners, you know, I kept getting we all kept getting text messages and people reaching out. Hey, like I can't hear Manzer. Is something wrong? So no, nothing was wrong, listeners. Manzer, you know, our co-host / producer Blake Manzer, switched off his own audio. So real quick, Blake, just kind of set us up. A little shot of redemption here. Tell us about yourself. What you got going on? Introduce yourself. Floor is yours.
All right. So for those of you who are wondering why there's like 5 minutes of silence during the first 10 minutes of our podcast is because I just didn't have my audio device connected. But that should be fixed for the future. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Blake Manzer. Recently graduated from the University of Georgia not recently anymore. It's been about a year and a half. Graduated back in May of 2019. And I've been living up in Charleston, South Carolina for the past 7 months. And I'm here working for the Navy as a nuclear power school instructor, teaching all of our young enlisted sailors some of the theory that they need to know to operate a nuclear reactor on a nuclear powered ship or submarine.
Right on.
And that's,
Blake, you're my hero. Thank you for serving your country, brother.
You know, I strive to make you proud every day.
Blake.
So I I failed to mention. So Blake, thank you for that. That was an awesome redemption there. You killed it. So I forgot to mention our other newcomers to the podcast this week. If you notice, three of the four of us are wearing glasses today. And I'm pretty sure none of us have like bad eyesight. What's going on there,
I do.
Brian? Tell us.
Me and Blake do.
Okay.
Sure,
Yeah, I
Blake
can't
does.
see shit.
Pretty sure you're the
Okay,
only-
so
yeah.
I'm speaking for myself here. Yeah, these are strictly to make me look smarter and more intelligent.
You're going
They
for the
don't
redneck
do-
hipster look.
I'm going for the redneck hipster look.
Mullet with those glasses.
Plus blue light glasses. You're exactly right. So,
2020 in a nutshell.
2020 is a weird year. You got that right. Cameron, of course, is the lone soldier here without the glasses. Cameron, defend yourself.
I can get some sunglasses on. I don't have any regular glasses.
Get some white framed Oakleys and just rock them every episode.
Gas cans.
Yeah, gas can.
Man, I wish I had my Oakleys from middle school. Dude.
Just pop out the lenses and make yourself look smart.
I had the
actually
Sean
wiped
White
them.
Dude,
I had the
we need
gold
all right.
lenses.
So our first Bona Fide Talk investment, once we get all of your money, is we are going to buy Cameron some gas can white framed Oakleys to wear on the podcast.
Dude, can that be our first merch?
Please.
Bonafide Talk branded sunglasses?
That's a great
Brother.
idea. That's a great idea.
Oakley?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sponsor?
Go ahead and subscribe.
Sign
to
up for
our
Patreon. Yeah.
Oh, Patreon.
And yeah, no, guys, we're not
Patreon and
gonna ask you for any
OnlyFans.
money. We're just gonna
yeah, we
talk
don't have
shop
any of
and
this.
yeah, but we are gonna get T-shirts soon. Brian, you did a really good job on the logo, and we're gonna get some T-shirts out soon. Right, Brian? Didn't we? Am I putting you on the spot here, forcing you to make a T-shirt?
Yeah. Well, there's this cool app I got a targeted ad on Instagram for,
No way.
and it is actually called T-shirt. So
The app is called
I haven't really
T-shirt?
looked- it's literally called T-shirt.
Simplistic.
But the premise is, you get a T-shirt. Imagine that, and
Right.
you can choose colors and then also insert logos. So that is
Right.
something I will be looking into.
Right on. So listeners, get excited. We got T-shirts coming out.
Bonafide Talk
maybe
T-shirt.
Right on. Maybe we'll run some specials, some raffles. Who knows? There are exciting things to come for Bona Fide Talk. But anyway, that's enough of an intro, guys. I really want to talk about this, and we've kind of been discussing this all week, and I want to kind of clue our listeners in on this. So, as our listeners know from the first episode, we play a decent amount of Call of Duty. When the boys get off work and we're trying to wind down before we hit the sack at night, we hop on some Search and Destroy, and we play some Call of Duty, and we hop in some Xbox Live parties and talk some smack. So
Yeah.
guys, my question to you all, and we might be experts in this, is Call of Duty dying?
Is Call
Yes.
of Duty dying?
So let me set you up a little
Tough
bit more
question.
here. So for those of you who used to play Fortnite is officially dead. Okay, so let's not
Thank
go ahead
God.
and put Call of
Been
Duty
dead.
in the grave yet, because
Been dead.
Fortnite is definitely dead, right? So for those of you who played Fortnite in the past, you understand that Fortnite took over the world. Every video gamer out there from 7 years old to 70 years old was playing Fortnite hours a day, talking smack, doing the whole thing. And then it just kind of reached that point where like players got too good and it just wasn't fun anymore. And you kind of like, it just became an expert only game, etc. So us
Building battles.
Right, dude, right. So what we've been
Hate that.
noticing and talking about recently is like we keep getting on COD to have some fun and kill some noobs and just have a good time.
There's
and
no
we
more
keep
noobs.
getting destroyed.
We are.
There's
We're
no
the
more
noobs.
noobs. We're the noobs
We
now.
have become the noobs.
The
So,
master
what
has
do you
You
become
can't be
the
a casual
apprentice.
gamer anymore.
Well, so here's
Well, I
my
think
take.
that's gonna be
One-
evidenced.
Here's
Go
my
ahead,
take
Blake.
on it. So I think this is the first year that Call of Duty has really had a good game, probably since Black Ops 2 came out. Because all the Call of Duties
Agreed.
before Modern Warfare were just absolute trash. Coming out with the jetpacks with like the boost jump, and then they tried to change it up with with the World War II Call of Duty, which was kind of a flop. So I think this is the first Call of Duty in a while that has been real fun to play. And we're getting to that part of the year where Call of Duty is, I think it's like 9 months old now. it's hard for a game like Call of Duty to sustain itself for a whole year. So it's starting. I think things are starting to die down. Plus, you've got so many people that are playing that game now. It's a cross-platform game, so not only do you have Xbox, but you have PlayStation and PC players. So just the wealth of people and the wealth of skill is so much greater than I feel like previous Call of Duties have been. So I think it's kind of getting to the point where Call of Duty is it's starting to die down a little bit, kind of losing its luster, and yeah, kind of setting things up for the next year's Call of Duty. So Call of Duty, so Modern Warfare, I think is on a decline, but I think Call of Duty as a franchise is on the upturn. Looking at how much of a success this game was.
I agree with that.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. For me, I remember, coming home from middle school, early high school, hopping on Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, and just that pure sense of nostalgia as you reflect memories of loading up the game menu, hopping in, multiplayer, getting a lobby with your friends, grinding out to 10th prestige. And quite frankly, I don't know if it's just because, exactly. I don't know if it's just because we're older now and we don't have as much time to spend the entire summer playing one video game, but I just, going all the way up to 10th prestige. Well, now in this game, it's you get reset back down to 55, grind 100 levels. It's just I don't really have the interest in spending hours on end to achieve some rank. It's just not there anymore for me. It's not doing it. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely, I agree with both those points. I got a good bit to say about kind of Call of Duty and the gaming industry almost as a whole. So the way games are coming out now is they're coming out like unfinished, and I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
I know that's happened in the past, before this whole like updating wave where a game comes out unfinished and then it gets updated a countless number of times. Like I remember the days when a game would come out and it was supposed to be finished, and if it wasn't, it had a couple of bugs, and they would come out with like an update or a few updates over the course of the whole game. But I don't like the current Call of Duty and the way it is getting updated, like monthly. And it's just a whole new update. The game was unfinished when it came out. You get a whole new update, and that brings new bugs. Getting into a lobby, starting the game without getting like a network connection error and getting tossed out of the lobby. All these things, all these updates bring in new bugs, and it's so annoying. Like, we just wanted the game finished, and if not finished, then like just work the bugs out and that's it. But it's the whole state of gaming, the gaming industry as a whole, the whole updating stuff.
Well, I think part of the reason for that is kind of going back to that lifespan of a video game, like of a first person shooter like that. Because if I think the reason that they come out with different segments to add on to the game every month or every other month or so is to kind of keep people interested. It's got that newness factor to it. Like when the game started out as just like campaign and multiplayer, and then they added in Warzone a few months ago, just to keep the interest rolling. So I think gaming companies are starting to move towards that as a whole, just to keep people interested for longer. But like you said, it does bring up its own issues with, the newest version of anything is going to have some bugs, and when you're consistently releasing new versions of an already existing game, it's just going to be buggy, which is pretty annoying.
And they can mess up certain aspects that they had right. Like this most recent update, I just don't like it. There's a lot of flaws with it, and a lot of guns being changed and the flow of the game being changed.
Yeah.
Dude, that's what drives me nuts, bro. That's what drives me nuts is like let's say, I don't know, you find an awesome gun that you get really good with, right? And you're just murking kids with whatever gun or whatever class you've got. 2 weeks later, they change the gun and like make it less powerful and stuff. Like, it's just crazy. I will say this. I'll make 2 points. So what I really like is how current new video games are, right? So with the introduction of like most of these games being on like Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, whatever, there's a demand from the players to update and make the game current, right? So like, changing with the ebbs and flows of what people request from the game, right? I personally like that. Cameron, I understand like where you're coming from though, like how it messes up with the flow. Totally understand that. Second thing
Yeah.
is, let's just all mutually agree and end it on this. Call of Duty is not dead. It's dying. It's not dead. And we're all the noobs now.
We're old.
We've
Yeah.
become the noobs. But at the end of the day,
casual.
though, would you rather be a Call of Duty noob or a Call of Duty hero? Like, I think I'd rather just be a noob.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just want to be a casual gamer.
Just want to be
Those are getting
slightly
phased
above
out. The
average.
online, the rankings. Yeah, exactly. Slightly above average. A casual gamer that's pretty good, and that's just
I want to
the
only get
ranking
matched
system and
up
the way
against
the
kids
game
that
plays.
suck, so I can feel good about myself.
Same.
So until the day that we all launch our gaming careers, let's just tie it up at we're all just casual gamers, and we'll probably never be anything more.
We're old men
unless
in the Call of Duty gaming.
exactly.
Maybe soon. We don't know where this podcast will lead. We'll all be professional gamers soon enough.
So speaking of things that are dying, guys, there's been a lot of stuff going on an international stage regarding TikTok. Okay, real quick, I'm gonna do a quick
Very
survey.
interesting.
Everyone that is watching our YouTube podcast can see this as well. Raise your hand if you currently have TikTok on your phone. Boys, Brian? Okay,
Oh,
so
Brian.
for those of you listening, one of the four in this podcast,
Brian.
I'm not surprised by the answer.
I
Brian
stand
has
behind
on
TikTok.
his. Brian stands behind TikTok. Okay, so guys, I don't know if y'all are super aware of this topic, but it's been running rampant in the news. TikTok has been really struggling in the last few weeks. Okay, and I think what's been going on, from what I've read, is that basically people are becoming aware of the data collection that TikTok has been acquiring on its users over the last few months, or in its entirety, right? So you have millions and tens of millions of people worldwide who own the app. Okay, of those people, and the TikTok's owned by ByteDance, which is a Chinese ran organization, basically.
Right.
So you've got TikTok collecting just insurmountable amounts of data on its users worldwide, and people are just starting to get really worried about what exactly they're doing with the data. Okay, the other thing that's kind of gone on is there's been a little bit of a political war over TikTok that's been going on over the last couple weeks as well. So in India, a few weeks ago, India and China share a border, and basically there was a dispute on the border, and I think 10 or 20 Indian militants were killed by China, and that sparked like a huge debate. And India actually banned TikTok in its country. So now a lot of Americans are starting to ask, should we ban TikTok?
Right.
I did a little research. Ninja, we all know Ninja. Speaking of Fortnite, we all know Ninja, and Ninja has taken a stance against TikTok. He's deleted
That's
the app,
surprising.
right? So yeah, dude. So it's kind of this is a major conversation in our country right now. So I guess I tee you guys up to ask you this: should the U.S. ban TikTok?
I think so.
What I can go. I guess I'll just give my point of view first. So I've kind of got two opinions on this. One, so I'm not a huge fan of too much government control on anything. So whenever I just straight up hear the word "should the government ban something," I'm not really a fan of that phrase. However, so TikTok, as you mentioned, is owned by a Chinese company, and they do. I mean, it's been proven that they mine data on the users, and it's not just like browsing history. It's actual data involving like what you look like and people you hang around with and like what you're interested in. So they're gaining a lot of information on you, which is kind of scary from a country that isn't very friendly with the United States like China is. So I know. So for me, the military actually doesn't let me have TikTok on my phone. The Navy. So it says that the U.S. Army and the Navy have banned their members from using TikTok because of because of the ties to the Chinese government. And so when you're a China obviously isn't like America in their economic system. if you have a business in China, well, it's a Chinese business. Like the government owns that business. Whereas in America, we have a little bit more freedom where our businesses aren't tied to the government like they are in China. And so another Chinese company that's been suspected of using spyware to spy on Americans in other countries is Huawei. I don't know if you guys are
Mm,
familiar with Huawei, the
Yeah.
big cell phone manufacturer. That's actually, I
right.
believe, they've already been banned from selling their products in the U.S. And I was reading an article today. I can't remember exactly um, what it said, but they're put on some sort of restricted list, which is what the government is apparently looking at for putting TikTok on. So I think they can put TikTok on a list that makes it harder for people who own Android phones and iPhones to download the app. However, you're not going to be able to remove the app from people who already have it downloaded on their phone. And there's also like they can ban it from these app stores, but it's going to be there's all sorts of backdoor ways that you can get TikTok on your phone. So I'm not sure how effective an overall ban would work in terms of keeping people from being able to use the app.
Interesting. So
Seems like a
basically,
big
so real
logistical
quick,
headache.
so Manzer, what you're saying basically is like China, obviously, kind of their government kind of owns and operates TikTok, and as an enemy of our state, we should be concerned on the data that they are collecting on American people, considering the girth of people who use the app and due to the information they're possibly collecting. That's basically what you're saying.
Yeah, it's an intrusion of privacy, and
Okay,
China
Not
isn't the only country that
yeah,
does this.
right. Cameron,
for
take it away.
sure. Yeah, not only just the data collection, but the manipulation of like what content is on there.
Yep.
I mean, we've seen that be a problem on US based platforms, but from China, like we can't, take them to court here in the US, can we? Like, can't do any of that stuff. So provides a whole nother like set of challenges on that side of
I
Right.
just want to see funny videos. If Vine came back,
it.
that would
Yeah,
make it.
dude.
But there
What?
could be US based platforms could come up
Mm-hmm.
that do the same thing. Why not?
Vine.
Yeah. Yeah, I
We need to
think
go
the
buy
premise of
Vine.
TikTok is
Yeah.
good. I think it's just a little
Yeah.
scary that it's owned by the Chinese. Kind of like that. What was it, a year ago? There was that Russian-owned app. It was like Age Up or something like that. Where it, like
Yes.
made you look older, but they collected data on your facial
Right.
profile.
Yes.
Yeah.
How crazy is
Biometric
that,
and
dude? How
everything.
crazy? It's
Somebody used that on
people.
me.
Right, dude. Like people, I think people kind of like don't understand how much information that they have, like of themselves on their cell phone, and how much of that data they give out to so many companies and organizations out there.
Right.
Like I just don't think that
For
I don't
real.
even think us as aware of that issue truly even understand the magnitude of what that can mean. And I also want to add this, we don't have to sit here and just beat a dead horse about TikTok all day, but there are U.S. companies that are also mining girths of data about us as well. I mean, let's
Right.
not
True.
be ignorant to that. I mean,
Instagram.
Most of these
yeah,
social
the
media
big
giants
four.
are doing it.
Yeah, dude. Google, Facebook, and like Twitter, all the way around. Like they are definitely Amazon. Oh God, we don't have to talk about that today, but they're definitely collecting like some insurmountable data about us. And
Yeah.
that's scary. But at the same time, though, it's our responsibility to govern that each and
True.
collectively. Whether it be like fixing settings on our phone or just at least just being aware of the issue at hand.
Right.
So I think
Knowing
that's definitely yeah.
knowing
Go ahead.
what amount of information these companies have access to. And it's difficult for the average person to be aware of that, because all this stuff is tied up in these like pages long terms of agreements that you just click the check mark. All right, I accept to download the app. Yeah, I feel like for most people it's hard to actually dive into those settings and and control how much information you allow Google to see. I know Google, for one, they I think recently they've been caught up in a scandal where even if you turn location tracking off on Google Maps, it's still not truly turned off. Like they can still
Right.
map where you're going,
Even if
even
you
though even if
even
you
if you
turn
delete
off.
the app and stuff.
Oh, really? Even if you delete the app?
Yeah, Facebook's been caught for that. Facebook, Google, I mean, all the same.
It's a little sketchy, honestly. Like they tell you, and even um, you know, once these companies started getting caught for their privacy leaks and stuff, I feel like they've uh, started to make it seem like to their users that they care about your privacy and give you the options to turn off data tracking or location tracking and like data mining. Turn those settings off, but you're not actually turning them off. So it's like, well,
Right.
why do you want our data so much? Is it just because it's valuable? Because that's another thing. Back in the inception of the iPhone, which led to the inception of all these social media platforms, nobody knew how valuable data would be. But now, 10, 15 years later, it's it's the main commodity of these huge companies like Facebook,
Mhm.
uh, Twitter, and Google. Like nobody knew how valuable
Companies
your data
pay,
is.
yeah, companies pay like millions and millions per year just to buy consumer data, which is
Yeah,
kind of crazy. I mean, where do you think targeted ads are coming from? You know?
Right.
right.
Yeah.
No, you're exactly right. Like whenever the weirdest dude is whenever you have like a conversation with somebody. Let's say I'm talking to somebody about wheelbarrows, right? We're having an awesome conversation about wheelbarrows, and then you go and you scroll through your Facebook or your Instagram feed, and then you get an ad about wheelbarrows. Like, are you effing kidding me, bro? Like they're listening, dude. Like I didn't Google shit. They're listening to me. Like
These
that's just
fucking wheelbarrow
For real.
companies
crazy.
have so much control. Who knew?
Yeah, dude.
It's all the time.
They're the invisible hand that's governing society. It's those damn wheelbarrow companies, right? No,
I've
dude. So
I've seen an increase in that.
right,
They're getting better
Like
at
a
it.
big increase recently, very recently, small companies, just like Blake was saying earlier about the ad he saw, very small companies, very recently, I've seen a lot more targeted ads. I think that it might be because we're not focusing on it. Like that should have been a huge story and a huge
right,
storyline for 2020, but who's really focusing on that? Focusing on everything else, but
right.
like very important things that will change the next 10, 20, 30 years and all this tech.
100%, 100%. And that's that's one of the downsides of technological innovation, right? Is we're starting to kind of be more aware of it. Is the privacy concerns?
Right.
Like as our lives are becoming easier, our daily lives are becoming easier with companies making it easy for us to go and like order something off of Amazon or just like various things. As our lives get easier, we give up something in return, right? We give up
Right.
our information and our privacy to these companies in return for that ease and that that the sacrifices for our way of life. So, guys, I wanted to ask this question because I had a very interesting debate this week about this, and we're kind of like leading straight into this conversation. I want to go ahead and ask and see where you guys stand on this. Okay, so let's get out our history. Let's go into our history noggin, history portions of our brain right now, and let's think back to U.S. history a little bit. So back in the early 1900s, right? You've got the magnates, the industry titans of like Rockefeller. You've got
Carnegie.
what's the guy? Andrew Carnegie. You've
Vanderbilt.
got U.S. Steel, Standard Oil, right, and like railroads, etc. And these guys basically ran the country, right? They monopolized major industries, created just insurmountable wealth, etc.
JP
They
Morgan.
got
Yeah.
broken up, right? J.P. Morgan as well. They got broken up by the government, and we all know how that ended. So, Mike, the question that kind of came up this week was, who had more clout? Who had more power? Those guys of the early 1900s or the Bezos, the Zuckerbergs, the whoever runs Twitter, I don't know. The major like social media, like Apple, like the tech companies today. Like where do you guys kind of stand on that? Who do you think has more
That's a good
comparative
question.
clout in that scenario?
I don't know a direct answer, but I feel like I saw something online that like adjusted net worth and like income with inflation. And I want to say like those big powerhouses were like in the trillions for valuation. I
Individually or
don't know. I
combined?
don't I think individually,
Wow.
like each industry.
Jesus.
I could be talking out of my ass. I don't know for sure,
That's okay.
but I swear I saw that somewhere.
Yeah, it's different. You know, you got to take the different times into consideration. I think they're both, or each scenario is pretty similar in the fact that back in the early 1900s with your Rockefellers, your Carnegies, all them, they had all this wealth based on the businesses that they ran, and they used that wealth to buy up more businesses such as media companies, and so they were able to kind of shape the way that American media developed throughout the 20th century. And now you've got the companies that we're talking about, like Zuckerberg with Facebook, Jeff Bezos with Amazon, Jack Dorsey with Twitter. They they're, or at least for the social media companies, their business is media, social media. And while it's more, social media is a little bit more open source due to the fact that anyone can get on there and talk about what they want, whereas with a more traditional media source, it's kind of filtered from the top down. We're starting to see these social media companies censor what people talk about.
Right.
So it's kind of weird. I think we're starting to see history repeat itself in a way. With those companies back then got to a point where they were essentially monopolies because they grew too big, and you've got Facebook and Google that are essentially monopolies. They just buy up whatever competition pops up, and I think
Yep.
I think it has to lead to them being broken up, because once something gets too powerful, once things get too centralized, that never leads down a good road.
Yeah.
Yep.
If
I think they
one
have much more
show,
power today.
Yeah, maybe.
yeah, in terms of influence on like the population, yeah, definitely. Because
Exactly.
I
And how
mean,
quickly you can disperse information.
right.
Yeah.
An
Go ahead,
interesting
Blake.
show on this, if y'all are interested, on HBO, Secession. It's really it's a good show. It's about pretty much like a media conglomerate who obviously like owns other businesses and whatnot, and it's about how the dad that originally founded that media company and conglomerate and amassed like such great wealth is now handing it down to their kids, and it kind of goes through like the analysis of power and stuff like that. Really good show. That's a kind of side note, but if y'all haven't seen
Yeah, it
that,
sounds
give it a
interesting.
look.
You
Yeah.
said it's Succession, like succession.
Yep.
Okay.
hmm
Right
Yeah.
on. So,
HBO.
Brian, if those of you who don't know, Brian is actually officially sponsored by Secession. So, good plug there, Brian. That was nice. No, I'm just kidding. But
Make sure
guys,
to click
I
through
really,
the link so like they know it's me.
right,
Yeah, get that
Yeah.
kickback.
So, I really do think that is just such an interesting debate, because we kind of go through school and you learn about those companies that's just so just like world dominating and just in having so much power and wealth. And I just really do stand on the side of, I think that the tech companies today are more wealthy and more powerful than Standard Oil and U.S. Steel of the early 1900s. I really do, and I think what it comes down to is just our discussion on consumer data. I think it's because of how much that they know about each of us individually through their products, like our Amazon Prime accounts, our iPhones, our Twitter feeds, our Facebook accounts, our Instagrams. Like, there's so much data that we just put out there into the world that they are just mining and using. And it goes back to they're giving us something in return, right? They're giving us good products like iPhone and social media and Amazon Prime, ordering whatever in the world to your doorstep in 2 days. Like, it's a give and take there. But at the end of the day, though, as long as we are just aware of our own privacy and understand the fact that we are personally responsible for that, right? Like,
Right.
I think what Manzer, you made a really good point about, like, limiting government control. Like, should the government ban TikTok? You said no. I agree with you, because I think it's up to each of us individually to decide for ourselves, are we willing to give up all of that data for the product, whatever that may
Right.
be? Does that make
Mhm.
sense? I think that's kind of just more the American
Yeah.
way. It's kind of like each of us govern our own realities through our individual responsibility that's kind of given to us in the Constitution.
Right.
That's just kind of the way I look at it.
Yeah, we have the most
Um,
power as a
then-
consumer, so our
Yeah.
decisions directly affect those companies.
One thing that I
100%.
just thought is kind of interesting too is to directly answer the original question of like who's more wealthy or powerful. I think something too is like we don't know how to accurately value, and I mean we kind of do, but not directly know how to value the influence from a monetary perspective. Whereas now we can go back and look and be like, oh, Carnegie's and all the other big industry people were doing this. Like, hindsight's 2020, where we have a more complete vision of what was going on given the time and like everything that's happened since then, and like you can more accurately value something, whereas right now it's currently going on, so we
Sure.
don't truly know.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the fear, is that we just don't know, man. Hopefully one day we'll
Right.
find out. Cameron, you want to add anything there before we tie that up?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think some of these large, names and families garnered their power a while ago, and they still have it today. I think they've gotten better at doing it behind closed doors and controlling
Yeah.
puppets that might seem like they're the ones that actually in control. Maybe Mark Zuckerberg. I don't know for sure, but
Yeah.
I don't know if he's in complete control.
He's a
Somebody might be
robot.
controlling him.
Green color.
Well, yeah, I think he's an alien. I think he's some kind of lizard dude.
No, it's Brian. Brian's a lizard.
I'm just saying.
Get that Eduardo.
Yep.
But yeah, they just still have that power today, and the power is just completely different now. They have that immediate, like
Right.
Brian was saying, kind of manipulation / influence today with social media. But I think it's some of the same powers. They garnered that power a while ago, and they kept it through the Titanic and stuff.
Right. I think that's a really interesting point, Cameron. And I actually had a conversation this week about this basically, right? So I don't know if you guys are familiar with Thomas Paine. Thomas Paine wrote Common Sense, which was basically a pamphlet for advocating for the revolution back before the Revolutionary War, advocating why America should, start its own country. And in Common Sense, he talks about a concept called the invisible hand, right? So the invisible hand is kind of like what you just mentioned, Cameron. It's basically like who kind of governs and like controls society that's like doesn't necessarily have a face, right? Like I think that's kind of what you're talking about. Is like we should be fearful, but also understanding of the invisible hand. Just so like awareness is key in that situation, right? Like as long as you understand like that there are greater powers out there trying to influence you and control your daily life or control your spending habits, whatever. As long as you understand that, then you're able to kind of overcome that influence and power. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I think
it does.
that's
Definitely does.
very right. I think that's just very insightful though, because you've got like these guys, man, like Thomas Paine, George Washington, that spread these warnings from like those early days that we're like seeing every day of our lives today. Like whether it be George Washington warning of the factions or Thomas Paine warning of the invisible hand and stuff. Like those guys, man, they just had it. Hopefully one day we'll be that smart.
True.
But Brian, you mentioned 2020 earlier. Talking a little bit about 2020, man. Not only is it a crazy year in the world of privacy, it's also a crazy year in the world of sports. I know you guys kind of make me the de facto sports update guy. So I'll give just a quick little like shallow update on the world of sports right now. So nothing's really changed in baseball, hockey, and soccer. Cameron, you can probably give us an update here in a little bit about like European soccer and how that's been going.
I have something funny, but
okay, yeah, go ahead and take that over then. I want to hear it.
okay, yeah. So I was watching, and I had been watching before the last one. The main way I watch soccer actually is just highlights of the Premier League. It's mainly what I watch. I don't have cable or anything. I don't go and find weird Reddit streams and stuff where I can watch games. But mainly Premier League highlights on YouTube. And one thing I noticed is so they don't have a crowd. I think I said that last time. They have these virtual fans, but it's only like I don't know. It's probably 24, like 30 something. it's not a huge screen. Well, it is pretty big, but anyway. So I noticed in these highlights that they will interject fan like noise. You know how at soccer games they have like a lot of fan noise and they do these different chants and cheers. Like when something happens, like a lot of people cheer or just like, oh, when they miss or something. I heard that when there were no fans there. I was like, what is going on? Am I watching Jerry Seinfeld right now with his laugh track? Like, what's happening?
That's weird.
That was just something weird and funny that I noticed. It's just like they put that over. They overlaid the audio.
Like they had
on
like
the
a soccer
highlights.
player. Where'd Brian go?
Uh-oh.
I'm just
He's
turning it
back.
on and off. My camera was kind of fogging out.
Oh,
All right,
gotcha.
we're good.
So like if someone made a good kick or something, they had fans cheering when there was no actual fans cheering.
Yeah, I heard, and like there's some people in the stadium, but like
Not
it came
that
through just
loud.
like it was a real game. Yeah, like I was
Wow.
like,
That is crazy.
Wait,
That's weird. Like why
just-
fake that?
yeah, one game was more. I mean, I watched a bunch of different teams and stuff, but one game was it stood out a little bit more than all the other ones. I was like, what is going
So
on?
I guess what they're trying to do is just kind of bring some sort of like normalcy for the players, by
Yeah.
giving boosting that
Yeah.
crowd noise just to make them feel like more comfortable and normal. Have
I
you
get
heard
that.
anything about the players' reactions, like what they think about it, like if they like it, if they think it's eerie or creepy playing in front of no fans? Have you heard anything about that, Cameron?
Oh, not really on that side. I thought you were gonna lead into like how they like it, or you can hear them on the field, and they'll like be cussing and yelling at each other a bunch. And
Oh,
you can,
yeah.
I mean, there's no noise around, so you can hear everything they're saying. I think that's hilarious. There's
Dude, that is
multiple videos of
man.
people just cussing out their teammates and stuff. Just
Dude,
hilarious.
that's gonna be so interesting to watch too when the NBA comes back later this month, dude, because they're playing in front of no fans in like what they're calling a bubble. So basically, they're going down to Disney World, and all 30 or 20 whatever teams that are still in the play that are considered in the playoffs are all playing in like a tournament against each other in front of no fans in an enclosed court. You're going to be able to hear all the smack talk. Like, I don't really watch the NBA. I might tune in just to hear like LBJ and Zion Williamson like hashing it out back and forth on the court. Like that'll be
That'll be an interesting
to
dynamic.
watch.
Yeah.
Right. So I guess the cool thing about bringing up soccer first is European soccer has done a really good job, at least so far, in kind of getting live sports started back up. Right. So I think most of the American leagues are kind of looking at what they're doing and the success they're having and looking at their process and saying, okay, here's what we can do. Okay. So this was kind of a big week in the world of college football. Okay. So earlier this week, the Big Ten Conference came out and basically let everyone know that they're only going to be playing conference games this year. Okay, so for those of you who don't understand what that means, so you, in college football, in Division I college football, you have 5 major power conferences. Okay, outside of those Power 5 conferences, you have a group of 5. So the Power 5 conferences basically kind of govern Division I football, right? So basically what that means is like they make most of the money off television revenue. They get the best recruits, they kind of garner most of the attention. So therefore they kind of make the rules because the NCAA doesn't really have the authority to make the rules, right? So the Big Ten coming out and saying that they're only going to play conference football means that the rest of the conferences are as well going to more than likely only play conference football. So
Man.
we're reaching this point. We're reaching this point where, all right. So basically, to make this point, I talked to one of my buddies who plays for the Ole Miss football team earlier this week, and he kind of told me basically that his confidence level in there being a football season this fall went from like 100% to 0% this week.
Really?
Like he's worried that there might not even be a season. And dude,
Yeah.
I'm kind of
Yeah.
getting worried about that too. Like, I just think that like we're not really progressing. Like, think like the confidence level is not progressing. Like I figured that we would be by this point, right? This point in July. And, with kind of going back to what we talked about last week with my like grad school program being fully moved to online, and with a lot of universities around the country moving to fully online for the fall as well. Doesn't that just give you a sign that like they don't want any part of anything to do this fall with like in-person stuff? Like they don't want that liability. I think football is going to end up being the same way.
Yeah.
And
I think so, too.
especially when you consider also that, you know, it's different for like pro soccer, pro basketball, pro baseball, pro football, because those guys are getting compensated. They're getting paid
Right.
millions, thousands of dollars to risk their lives. Whereas these like college football, college basketball players, like they're not getting paid anything. They're getting a scholarship, yeah, but like, you know, what kind of, you know, how valuable is that going to be fall if, you know, you're only getting online to class curriculum
Right.
or whatever. So like,
Well, what about
dude, it's just go ahead.
it's all the players? I mean, the players have an end goal, and that's to get to professional level. And like, what if you're a senior
Right.
this year and you're trying to, you know, make your final push to, you know, get
I
a high
think they
draft
extend
pick or
eligibility.
You think they will?
Oh, they
Is that
will?
what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't see
That would make sense.
a use case where that
Yeah, that definitely does.
doesn't make sense. Yeah,
Right.
but
It's in
because think
the
about the
time
sheer
frame.
number
Go
of
ahead.
people, you know, that would be
Right.
quote unquote graduating and going on to the next level. I think from the college perspective, they definitely extend eligibility, but I feel like the NFL draft and how that gets affected would
Yeah,
be a
that's
little
gonna be
more
interesting.
You know, maybe some people do choose to, you know, maybe there's opportunity in this to go ahead and go out in the draft because the competition level's lower. I don't know. You know.
Yeah.
So that's a really good point about the NFL draft. And when you think about how short-lived like your college, you know, like your athletic career is in college, like, you know, obviously you've got the superstars, you've got Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, Jake Fromm, you know, all these guys who are just like household level or household names, right? But think about all the guys who aren't, right? That like y'all talked about, you know, trying to build their image to be able to make it to the next level in any sport, you know,
Right.
make it to the professional level. Like every year,
Yeah.
every game, every week is so important to reach that goal. And losing that entire year is just devastating to that end goal, right? Brian, you made a good point about eligibility. So spring athletes, obviously, like when everything hit the fan back in March, spring athletes were granted an extra year of eligibility. Baseball players, you know, whoever the other spring sports are. Sorry to offend my spring sport people out there, lacrosse, whatever. So all
Oh, I'm
those guys
offended.
got, I know, right? We're all offended. So all those guys got an extra year of eligibility. So I think if, you know, it gets to that in the fall, those guys will get an extra year of eligibility.
That
You
makes
know,
sense.
it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
It's, you know, give those people another opportunity to come back and do it again. The thing though that we haven't even talked about is how important the real reason driving why the college football season hasn't been canceled as a whole is finances, dude. It all comes down to the money. It all comes down to the
It's so
money.
valuable.
So 100%. So most of these like Power 5 programs, SEC, Big 10, Pac-12, ETC, most of those Power 5 schools fund their athletic departments through college football, right? So like, you know, football really generates probably like 70-80% of like their athletic department budget, and they support like the other sports. So
Right.
like if you don't have football, what happens to the other sports?
Yeah.
Right.
They don't get their money.
Right, you know what I mean?
True.
So the way I look at it is like I think college football is too big to fail because of the implications that it will have for the university system. Like, not only are we going to see athletic departments just completely go under, but we might see universities go under, like have to get government aid to keep them from failing.
Yeah.
You know, just because of their reliance on that revenue that comes with the big sports and stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see. You know, we don't have all the answers here, but all I can say is I do not envy those who have to make the decisions
Right.
about the future of college football in the world of coronavirus.
Me either.
Yeah, so there's my rant. Blake and Brian, you guys have something that y'all want to go ahead and talk about regarding outdoors as well. Brian, you want to go ahead and
Outdoors.
kind of kick that off?
Yeah, definitely. So we've kind of touched on, you know, TikTok and stuff like that. And I feel like, you know, going through it, the majority of like the younger populations kind of who you see on there, like quote unquote blowing up, getting all the views and stuff like that. And so on here, we kind of have like an open discussion regarding, how kids today are just kind of being, they grow up on iPads and stuff. Like my baby cousins, for example, they're probably on screens 8 hours a day or something, at least that. And so, me and Blake's background, we have the Eagle Scout, personal experiences from going to places like New Mexico to, backpack for 2 weeks, stuff like that, to where it's like, I wonder, and I'm not very involved in, the whole scouting thing anymore, so I don't know what those organizations look like what kind of trips they go on anymore, but we're just thinking, how different the youth is being grown up today versus, maybe even what it was 8 years ago or something when we were going through it. So I thought it was kind of interesting. I don't know if y'all have any specific thoughts or experiences firsthand with, that dramatic change that technology has kind of had with younger people growing up.
Well, so I think so. Obviously, we're human, right? Meaning, we grew up in nature. We grew up being surrounded, by the outdoors, and so that's encoded in our DNA. So I think it's kind of the background that me and you have, Brian, just growing up in the outdoors, going camping all the time. It's good for you. God damn it, Gary.
Cameron just cheesing right now.
What the hell is so funny,
Are you
Cameron?
getting bored? Good luck.
Yeah,
Wow.
historically, human species, as a species, we are nomadic. We grew up, with spears, hunting animals and stuff. To whereas now it's such a dramatic shift to where kids are being raised by screens and whatnot. And not saying me and Blake were out there in the woods hunting down stuff with our
I am saying
own
that.
hands.
That's
And
what I'm saying.
okay, yeah. But
How to
from
survive
human
in the
beings
wild.
as their inception, from what we know, um, it's just completely different. I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's healthier to be in the outdoors. If for any of you guys who have been camping or have been
For
on a hike,
sure.
you feel better after just 30 minutes of being surrounded by trees. And while I don't
Sure.
think that technology and mobile devices are all bad. Obviously, like I have an iPhone, we're connecting through a computer screen right now. Like with any new change, there's going to be good and bad, and I just think
Right.
that if you're growing up completely in front of that screen, that's not going to be good for your development. I think it's important for your overall health to be outside, to experience, what birds sound like, what nature smells like, getting
Right.
exposed, kind of speaking on our immune systems, getting exposed to a variety of things that our bodies are supposed to be exposed to, rather than just being sheltered in a box, in a four-wall room, watching TikToks or playing freaking, I don't know,
Call of Duty.
whatever the newest app is for kids.
Right.
Whatever the
And
kids are doing these days.
yeah, it's
Those
good for your
damn
health to be
kids!
outside. I feel so old
Get off
on
my
this podcast.
But the thing is, a big difference between us, we're on the very top end of Gen Z.
Right.
I got a Facebook in sixth grade, but
Right.
so I understand and have been able to understand social media. Like, I didn't understand it when I was in sixth grade, but I've grown up with it. But I didn't start necessarily when I was like under 12 years old. I didn't start when I was like 8. Get access to the internet, which has all kinds of stuff that
Right.
I didn't have access to when I was that age. And just the stuff, like I was saying with TikTok, like what they manipulate to push forward. Like I saw where they have algorithms to like recognize people's faces and like detect beauty and like then promote like good looking people and stuff. So
Whoa.
all kinds of manipulation about like what
Right.
the younger generation is seeing. Just like the rest of Gen Z grew up with social media at an even earlier stage, and they're like it was a little bit social media was a little bit more developed itself by the time they got to it. So like everyone I see sometimes on Instagram just like all these young kids with like just 50,000 followers. Just like, what?
Right.
How are you?
You're-
How are you like? How are you like?
You're not supposed to be able to
50
What
process that
about
as,
you?
as a
Like,
young
you're not
human.
What
supposed
about
to.
you is so cool
Their
that you
swag.
have 50K
Yeah.
followers?
Their
Like,
swag is
yeah,
what makes them cool.
Yeah, I don't
That's how
get
you
it.
got
Right.
cool, Garrett.
They don't
Yeah,
have a
I
sweet
guess.
podcast or
Flow.
anything. Like, come on.
Right. Yeah, dude, you guys all made really good points. And I think Cameron, what you mentioned about like that's very interesting about us being at the top of Gen Z. Like we kind of are we're that weird generation where like we grew up without cell phones and like social media and all that kind of stuff, but we also like grew up with it enough to where we like truly understand it. So it's almost like
Yeah.
we're hybrids, right? Like we're like the
Right.
kids who
Yeah.
grew up playing in the woods, but also playing on social media. So that's
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
an interesting point.
Um,
Dude, what I'll say a couple things. Brian, you talked about like your cousins and stuff that like have their faces planted in screens like all day long. Dude, that just made me think. Like a few days ago, I went out to dinner with my family, and dude, there was a family sitting behind us, and the parents are like talking and having normal conversation. They are completely ignoring the kid because the kid's sitting on the other end of the table with over-ear beats plugged in to an iPad, and his face is just buried in the screen the entire dinner. Kid didn't say a
Jeez.
word. The parents didn't address him. Like the only time he talked was when he ordered. Like I'll say that's two
Jeez.
things,
What the
right? That
fuck?
tells me,
Yeah.
yeah, dude, 100%. That tells me two things. First off, responsibility of the parents. It is your job as a parent to guide and direct your children through this life. Like you give them your experiences. You're supposed to like answer their questions and kind of lead them along. Whatever. So like if you're not leading your kids to get outdoors and like overcome those challenges that the outdoors presents, whether it be getting stung by a bee or like getting out of breath when it's hot outside or sweating or like all those things. Dude, like there's so many like inexplicable lessons that you can learn outdoors. Like if you're not guiding your kids to do that, then you're failing them,
Right.
right? I feel like there's such a responsibility on the parents. But dude, I mean, like the final thing, like Blake, you nailed it, dude. Is like that feeling that you just get when you're outdoors, bro. Like, I was kind of in a pissy mood this morning. Woke up late and like I was just like, oh, like I just feel like junk. And I went outside and threw the ball with my dog and just kind of like walk around the backyard and just hanging out. Sun beating down on me, and I came back inside rejuvenated. Like it's just like you just can't explain that, right? It's just
Yeah.
that's important, and I just worry.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I don't think people forget that. I just think like, it's just kind of lost on us sometimes, as we just get, carried away with shit that's going on, via our phones,
Yeah.
an interesting thing too to think about. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so these devices are marketed to make our lives easier, to kind of remove some discomfort from our lives. Whether it be, accessing the internet quicker, to get access to more information. So they're marketed to making our lives easier. But I don't. I think some of the importance in developing as a person is having struggles in life. Not having, not growing up super comfortably, dealing with challenges that you got to overcome, because that's what allows you to learn and grow, as a human into adulthood. So
Right on.
yeah,
For
I don't
sure.
exactly know
You
where I
gotta
was
get
going with
you
it.
gotta get your ass kicked to learn from your mistakes, bro. Like you just
Yeah,
like not like physically, but just by life's challenges. Like you gotta like you gotta scrape your knee to learn.
got to learn how to
shit,
fall
Like
so you can learn how to get up.
God, I'm inspired, Manzer.
That's what I'm here
Some
You're a
for.
things make it
legend.
tougher.
That is why I'm your hero,
Yeah.
my inspiration.
But
All right, guys.
one more point.
Go ahead.
One more point to being outside is just vitamin D in general. Very important. I
Here's
actually
coronavirus.
saw a little bit. Hey, you know exactly where I'm going with this,
It
Blake.
broke here.
I saw Dr. Rhonda Patrick on the Joe Rogan Experience, and I followed her for a while since seeing her on there. But she talks a lot about vitamin D and how people aren't getting enough, and that can be very bad for you in a lot of ways. And she links it to COVID in some interesting ways. So you gotta get outside, get your vitamin D. We're lucky with our pigment that we're able to produce it pretty quickly and efficiently, but everyone's got to get out there and get some sun. You know what I'm saying?
Right on.
Especially you, Cameron. You pale fuck.
Good God.
Yeah,
Little
good.
pale, dude.
Go lay the
I
pool
got
or
some
Blend
white
in with
in
his
there.
wall, dude. Yeah.
But we still got to get out there. We got to get
so-
out in the sun.
All right, let's
Right
move on
on.
to the
So-
fun part.
Oh,
Yeah,
Brian, you're
dude.
not having
So,
fun.
yeah, hell yeah. Brian's never having fun. There's that smile. There's that sweet
Oh,
Brian
Brian.
smile.
So
Oh, man.
sweet.
So speaking of being outdoors, boys, there's no greater experience in the world than summer hits, sun's beating down, wind's picking up, it's a beautiful day, and you go hop in the car, you crank those windows down, sunroof down, and you just go for a spin, right? That's just like
Just
it
blast
doesn't
some
get,
Luke
it
Bryan
doesn't
in the
get-
background.
it doesn't get better, baby. Yeah, Luke Bryan, Florida Georgia line on cue, like you're
Hit a
just
back
living
road,
the
you know what I'm saying?
So one thing that we kind of talked about this week was like our favorite cars and stuff. So we presented a challenge for each of us to come up with one vehicle with a grand budget of drumroll please $300,000.
300 big ones.
So 300
More than
hold'em,
houses.
baby.
Mhm.
Yeah, right. So you car freaks, Cameron, I'm gonna let you go ahead and kick this one off. Why don't you go ahead and
Oh
tell
no,
us
I don't
about
want to go first.
Well,
Who
Blake,
wants to go
first?
first? I
pictures
got these
first.
pictures I can pull up. So whoever wants to go first, I'll pull your picture up.
Like, why don't you go ahead
Yeah,
and take it away,
You want me to?
Yeah,
Yeah,
YouTube
you
link.
do it.
All right.
so I
shit,
can critique you?
I got okay, bitch. Well, let me pull up this car then. Shit, I gotta find a good picture. I don't have one pulled up.
So boys, I just know,
Pre-work.
like, I'm just gonna warn you right now, you're not gonna like my answer. You're just not.
Oh,
Really?
It's not gonna
Announce
be
it though.
fun.
Announce it before you pull it up.
All right,
No,
I'll
don't
go ahead and go
announce it.
first.
No,
I-
don't announce it once we do each other.
here. All
Yeah, I probably should go last.
right. So
Yeah,
my pick for a car around $300,000 price tag.
Share the picture before you say it.
Okay. Well,
Like, throw it on the screen.
I'll pull it up at the same time. Actually.
Yeah.
All right. So my
Perfect.
pick is a McLaren 720S. I think that is
I
going to give
know.
you
Solid pick.
the best bang for your buck in the $300,000 price range. You know, we got a twin turbo V8 cranking out. I think it's what
Are
710
you sharing
horsepower.
it?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, the
showing it
picture's
right
not
now.
up. No, you're not.
You guys
The
can't see
picture's
it,
not
but
on.
you guys can't see it. But our
Oh,
viewers
they can
can.
see it.
Oh,
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
it's overlaid on my screen.
Cool.
Yep. So there's twin turbo V8 cranking out 710 horsepower and somewhere like it's like 500 something foot-pounds of torque. So definitely up there in the performance range.
Oh,
And yeah, I
yeah.
mean I've always been a fan of McLarens. I think they look great. Like if I had $1.2 million to spend, I'd probably get the McLaren P1. I think that car is awesome.
Look, right there.
When you've got
Brian.
1.2 just
Oh, yeah.
laying around.
Yeah,
Yeah, just
yeah. In a couple
laying
years,
it around.
once I
Yeah.
get some passive income off my house.
You gotta have like 20 million to get a 1.2 million car.
Yeah.
Probably
Don't tell
more
me
than
how to
that,
live my
actually.
life. I'll just.
Yeah, Cameron.
But no, yeah. So
But,
that's my pick.
yeah,
You can
I think
leverage
that's
everything.
that's a great pick.
a solid
That was
supercar.
Yeah,
Oh, also
yeah,
let me.
sounds
So
great
0 to 60 in
supercar.
2.7 seconds.
Yes,
Oh.
and that is
Sweet.
probably I'd say nerfed a little bit if we want to go to
Yeah,
the gaming
they
talk.
underreport.
You think
They
so?
underreported because the 720S is so good that it competes with the P1 in a lot of areas.
Oh, so you think
So-
it would detract away from P1 sales?
Yep.
Yeah,
Huh.
it would
Devalued
make
P1.
those
Yeah.
customers a little upset. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So are you saying that you think the number is underreported, or they put like a governor on the 720S to like to reduce its
think the
performance?
numbers.
Are underreported,
You think so?
I think. I think
Yeah.
you can get under a 2.7 in a 720S.
Well,
Mhm.
you know, once
Yep.
once I get 300K, that's what I'm buying.
It's a great pick.
All right, Brian.
That was one of my options I was considering.
Yeah, I was afraid you were
So
going
it's
to
a great
choose that,
choice.
and we would have the same choice, and
But I
I'd have some
didn't.
variety. Nope, you didn't. You
I
chose something.
We
almost
got a good
did.
variety today. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
All right, Blake,
specifically,
you
you can
wanna-
get the performance package.
All right,
for
let me know when to pull up the
300K,
picture,
which
Brian.
would be
Yeah,
even
just
better.
pull it up and tell me when it's up, and then I'll just.
All right, it's up.
because I can't see it. All right, so my pick is the Porsche 991.2 Speedster. So what you need to know about this, and then I'm about to
I
throw
knew
in
it.
a bunch of 99.1 stuff. Porsche really likes its different nomenclatures to distinguish its models. But essentially, this car is, and Cameron, correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is correct, but essentially, this is a Porsche GT3 RS or GT3 with the roof
I think it would
topped
be
off
more like a GT3.
like a GT3. Okay, so it's
Yeah.
more like a GT3, which picture a Porsche with just like a big wing on the back, like the kind of race car looking ones. So essentially, it's that the roof chopped off, so it's a convertible, and then no wing.
Hmm.
So you get all
Mhm.
the cool like power and benefit of having a GT3 engine with the drop top feel, and I believe they actually chopped 2 inches off the windshield, so it's slanted down a little more, and it's something to do with aerodynamics and wind funneling.
Huh.
It's really cool. I think the one Blake is showing on the screen is in a paint to sample, one of one orange color that just has
Ooh.
all the right details, and it's perfectly spec'd. And so with Porsche paint to sample, essentially means it's their exclusive. People that spend a lot of money on Porsches get the option to pay even more money to make their cars special. So I won't go on any more longer because I could talk about this car for years. But yeah, that's my pick, a Porsche Speedster, and I'll hand it over to Cameron.
Brian's true
My
passion,
turn.
a good Porsche.
Also, an amazing pick and one I considered very high up there. But with 300K, I didn't think Porsche was the right way to go. I think you can get an amazing Porsche 911 example around 100 to 150 and get all the car you need or want. And so with the 300K, I think I'm going to go a little more exotic. I chose, is it up? I chose
I'll
the
put it up.
F12.
Yeah, it's
All
up
right,
right
I
now.
chose the Ferrari F12 Berlinetta. So this came out in 2013. It's got a massive V12 engine. Um, Ferrari's front engine V12. It's the example, actually, almost 2 generations old, 1 generation old now. And you can get this well under 300 around. You probably get a really good example 2015, 2016 for 230, 240.
I'm looking at
Maybe
a
if you want to.
2014 right now for 178.
Okay. Yeah, I'd probably try and get a later one, but yeah, I would get a really good example from the later years, maybe even 16 or 17, and then put a little money into it. So it's well under 300, and you put a little money into it to make it a little bit more track ready. It's a great grand touring car already. Nice, very good car. I mean, I want to drive one so bad, but back when, so this car came out 2013, that's back in sophomore year of high school, and when I saw the numbers on this car, I was blown away. I think it was probably a Car and Driver magazines when I first saw it, but 730 horsepower coming out of a rear wheel drive Ferrari,
Wow.
a V12. That V12 sound, I want that in my life.
Mm-hmm. Solid.
So you're
All
fine with
right.
it being a
boys.
front engine car?
That's twice as many cylinders as Brian's pick.
Oh,
That it is.
Brian, rebuttal yourself.
No, I have no rebuttal. That's a good choice.
Lay
It's
down like a
a.
dog.
I'd say the Speedster is a more special car.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's the thing with Porsche. Like, I definitely agree. If you're getting a Porsche, like spending over like even like 150, it's like, ooh, why are you buying a Porsche? But it's the exclusivity thing of it.
yeah,
It's very rare. It's going to
it's
appreciate
gonna
the
be worth
value.
more.
Yeah. So, all right,
Yeah.
Garrett, let us all down.
All right. First off, first question: how are y'all gonna have this 300K? How do you plan on having this 300K sitting around? Give me
Real
something quick.
I think probably
This
when I
podcast.
offload a real estate portfolio,
Subscribe.
probably at that point.
Right on. Okay, word. That's what I wanted to hear. All right, so I'm a cheap ass, bro, and for the last 15 minutes, I've just completely zoned out. Didn't understand a damn word what y'all just said. I don't know shit. The extent of what I know about freaking cars comes from like Need for Speed and like pimping out like some sweet car
Great
to
game.
like to race people online and shit. Like, dude, I don't know a damn thing about exotic cars. The only thing I know is that the new model Corvettes are sweet. I'm not saying that's my.
Oh,
I'm
here
not
we
saying that's
go.
my pick,
I agree, Garrett. Oh, okay. I was gonna pull it up.
but those are just so nice, y'all. Like the 2020, 2021, whatever the year is, like just it literally looks like an American made Ferrari. I guess it's got the back engine.
That's what they're
The
going
back
for.
engine.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Mid-
like it's insane. Or mid, whatever.
mid
my
engine.
bad. Yeah, see, right.
There
So,
we go.
yeah.
Wait,
I'm
I
the
want Blake to
ignorant
pull
one.
something up.
Okay.
Since you brought up the C8 Corvette and we're talking about the 300K price range, in my research, I was finding, Blake, look up Hennessy Performance C8 Corvette. That would be a monster that you might consider. I do want to hear your real pick, but for under 300K, I think it was only 220
You want me to just
something.
find an image? Damn, 1,200 horsepower.
Yeah, an image. You can find it on the web and show some stats on it if you want. But what an crazy vehicle that they have upgraded.
I think I have seen that one on their Instagram.
The American company.
That just looks like America right there. I mean, we got an American. I wish you guys could see this picture. We got American racing stripes, a little American. Here, I'll just send a picture of you guys. American
I'll do that.
Flag on the back.
Whoa.
This is America in a nutshell. My God.
Oh my God, dude. Whenever you
Once
say
you see
that,
this, you might make it your pick.
I picture like some Canton like redneck driving down Highway 20 with like an American flag like flying out of their like window and their like 1994 like Ford Mustang that's just like falling apart at the seams. Like that's what I picture when I think America right there. I picture just burn.
So what is the actual pick?
All right, dude. I don't have a pick. I'm gonna be 100% honest, dude. If you gave me 300K, I'm gonna take 50 of it. I'm gonna buy myself a nice truck, and I'm gonna take the rest of it. I'm just gonna toss it in some kind of investment, dude. I'm gonna go buy a rental property or
real estate.
Yeah, dude. Like or a vacation home. Like I don't care about cars.
That is way too logical, Garrett.
I know, dude. Like I'm sorry. I just don't know enough about them, and I just don't think I would ever get that much use out of like a sports car because here's my thing. Here's my thing, dude.
You can ride in one of mine.
I'd love to, but like I would feel so like limited being on 575. Like I'm in this badass car. I got wide open spaces in front of me. I want to get 150, but like I know I'm gonna get pulled over and get sent in jail, right? Like it's just such a tease, like at all times.
So do you have a dream car?
Right.
Do you have a dream car? Like something that, like, if you could get right now, if you could get any car?
Dude, my dream car is gonna be a classic, bro. It's gonna be like a late 60s Camaro model Mustang Camaro or like an early 70s Chevelle. Like I just like that old school American muscle is like, or the 1950s Corvette, dude. Like I just love like the old school like American muscle stuff. But I just don't really have like a dream car. I know it sounds kind of sad and like logical, but I don't know. Sorry guys. Sorry to let you down here.
Good.
I'm sad.
But I enjoyed hearing y'all hash it out, and I like listening to people who are smarter than me because it makes me smarter. So that was an awesome little get there. I'm excited to look at this Corvette that you sent me because that's probably my sweet spot. Oh my God, dude, that thing is sweet.
You like that?
I mean that literally looks like a Ferrari, bro. Like these new Corvettes look like straight up Ferraris.
Yeah,
I feel like you'd also be into. You said old Corvette. I know you said 50s, but the late 60s C2, the second generation, and the later models. I feel like that would fit you pretty well. A little
dude, 100%.
Silver one.
So I can't wait for the day that we all have 300K laying around in our bed.
It's not if, it's when.
Yeah, when.
Alrighty.
I'll have it at 12 at some point.
We've got about 10 minutes before I've got to bounce. I've got the a Salesforce certification test, some real fun stuff for this Sunday afternoon.
But lagged out too.
Yeah, he looks a little frozen, but
looks a little frozen there.
Brian, do you have your exam? Do you have your test at 5 or 5:30?
Was
5:30, but I need to look at some stuff beforehand. So let's go through. We've got some of our loyal listener questions.
Let's go ahead and close out.
Yeah, let's go. Let's look at those, and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah, let's get through these.
Cool.
Yeah, real quick.
The
So,
questions.
first off, just want to say thank you guys who sent in questions. You guys are going to be driving our discussion. We want to hear what you guys have to say and what you guys want to hear from us. So, we really appreciate you guys sending in questions. A couple that we really thought were interesting that we wanted to talk about today. The first one's going to come in from Kevin Keene, my Aprio buddy. Shout out, Kevin. Appreciate you sending the question. But he wants to hear our takes on the comeback of 2020, the product that will change all of our lives for the better, throw us back to our true nostalgia, throwing us back to our middle school days. The Motorola Razr is back, baby. Better
Woo!
than ever. Okay, so
Oh my god.
the Motorola Razr.
I wouldn't say that.
Dude, I wouldn't even call it research, bro. I just straight up Googled it, and Motorola Razr, dude. First thing that pops up, price point on a new Motorola Razr is $1,499. $1,500
Dude,
bucks.
it folds,
for
so
a-
it's worth it.
That's ridiculous.
Dude, it's a classic, man.
It's
That's
right.
ridiculous.
I swear, dude. Like, the people who are going to be buying these new Razrs are only going to be buying them for like nostalgia's sake. I don't know anything about them. So like you said, Manzer, when it folds out, like the touchscreen folds. So like you can open it and close the touchscreen,
Right.
which is interesting.
I got this iPad Pro 13-inch for $700. You get two of these. Two
Dude,
of
that's
these.
just dumb. Just dumb, bro. Like I don't even get it. I'd
That's
rather
ridiculous.
buy a 2007 Motorola Razr and just like simplify my life and just get back on the T9 texting and like phone calls, like
Yes.
call me if you need me type
Take me
stuff.
back.
Then pay, right, dude. But anyway, very interesting. We're Motorola Razr. If you want to send us a free copy, we will gladly receive it and
We'll give you a nice review.
test it out
Review
for you.
it.
Right, we'll give you a
Tech
review.
review.
But as far as where we stand right now, we're gonna take a hard pass. And
Yeah,
keep our
I
iPhones
don't get
so that
what
we
the
don't have to
whole
get a green text.
I don't get why people are so excited about having a foldable smartphone. Like this whole foldable screen trend that is trying to get started. I don't really see the attraction behind that. I'm fine with my
Smartphones.
rigid phone. It's
Smartphones are essentially just cameras now. That's why
Right.
I have my phone. Honestly, dead honest, I
Right.
considered getting away from having a phone. I was like, I could just get one of those watches with the cellular on it, have my AirPods in, and just have an iPad. And just
Interesting.
say, screw the phone.
I like
I
that.
definitely considered that, but I was like, can't take pictures. I can't just whip my phone out and take a picture. I mean, that's why I got my phone. Oh, I'm using it. I started looking for it. Oh my god, I'm using it right now. But
Damn,
the camera is the main reason I got this phone. So I'd have to see what the Motorola Razr camera looks like how good the quality is.
seems like that's
that
a
would
big
be the only
selling
thing
point. Just
justify
looking
the
at their
price.
website.
Yeah,
But,
dude,
I don't know.
100%. We're excited to see what the numbers look like. I'll say this real quick. My thing is, dude, like I think the number one reason I have my iPhone is iMessage, dude. If Android and Motorola and like whoever else can figure out how to like make texting more seamless on their platforms, dude, like I'm not opposed to switching up. But like as it stands right now, the compatibility with iMessage and being able to seamlessly use like all my Apple products together, that's like my thing. I don't know about y'all, but
Dude, Apple
they
hit the
actually
nail on
have-
the head with keeping you in their ecosystem. That blue little
Right.
bubble, creating the divide
dude.
between the green and the blue.
Sure.
That is their main
Yeah.
selling point.
Right. No
Exactly.
doubt. So guys, there's been a point of disagreement amongst people of our generation for as long as I can remember. And if you want to get people fighting, you ask them this question. And I don't know if there's a right answer, but I want to hear what you guys think about this. So Trey Pryor, shout out Trey for sending in this question. We had a little bit of conversation on Instagram about it, but I want to hear what you guys think about it. If you had to choose one to eat for the rest of your life, would you choose Chipotle or Moes?
Chipotle.
All right,
It's my life.
That's not going to cut it. That's not going to cut it. I want to hear.
Same.
I want to hear description here. Why? Give me
I
something.
had it for
Brian.
lunch today. That's why.
Wow. Wow.
Dude, the
All right,
Chipotle ingredients cannot be matched. A nice
Okay.
chicken
Unless there's
bowl.
cats and dogs in there.
So
I
what
don't wanna
about
think
the
about
Ebola?
that.
Do you like the Ebola?
Just kidding.
Blake? Does the Ebola taste pretty good?
So I don't think
Makes me
It was an
Ebola's ever been a
Ebola.
problem. I think it's been salmonella, maybe. Not
It was Ebola,
not the eye
Ebola.
bleeding disease.
Whatever, dude. Do the diseases taste well?
Yeah,
I
a
don't know,
nice
whatever.
bowl chicken. That's
All right, dude. So
Jesus.
I
Dad
think that's
jokes.
I think that's a beta take, bro. So
ouch.
honestly, like I don't really, dude, I don't really mess around with either, to be honest. Like I don't like go out of my way to go hit either. Like Chipotle, dude, I think is like the most overrated restaurant in the world. I do
I'm
not
offended.
mess with it.
Where
I
are
do
you
not mess
getting your
with it, dude.
burritos from then? What are you going to get? A fried chicken
so-
sandwich from Chick-fil-A instead?
Yeah, 100%, 100% every day, bro.
Fat ass.
Like I will accept that fat mantra right there and go full fat boy on a nice spicy chicken sandwich from Chick-fil-A. Dude, the burrito thing, like I just think Chipotle is super overrated. I've been a few times. I've always been disappointed. Moe's is better. The queso is the big selling point for me. I'm a big cheese dip
They
guy.
have queso blanco now.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, hey,
They have white
Chipotle.
queso now.
We would love to be sponsored by you, so send us some queso. We'll
Not
we'll turn
Moes.
around our viewpoint.
Or
We don't want
Yeah.
to be sponsored by
food
you, Moes.
review.
Welcome to Mo. Come on.
I do like that. I wish Chipotle did something like that.
Welcome to Chipotle.
We're at the Chipotle, now, like I
Yeah.
walk in and I'm judged for like whether or not I'm hipster enough for the restaurant. Like, I don't know. I'm just not.
Dude,
about
Garrett,
it. But
you look pretty hipster right
Alright.
now. You could pull it off.
dude, I'm going redneck hipster right now, bro. Let's get it. All right, guys.
Thanks for the question, Trey.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Oh no.
Yeah, good conversation.
Oh,
Jared,
Lusk, no, don't please.
Not at the end.
Well, I mean, we can go on to the next one, and then he'll pop back up any second now.
We're closing out after those ones.
That's it.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
it for today.
Boom.
Shout out to
Nice.
Trey. Shout out to Kevin. We time today.
Uh-oh. We
All
lost
right,
him.
well, I think
Well,
he lagged out.
Nice. That's it.
Oh,
here.
he's jumping back in.
Hey,
there
can
we
y'all
go.
hear me?
He's back.
Yep, you're back.
Yeah.
We're
Just
here.
in time
that
to
was
close us out.
whack. Yeah,
that's weird.
so sorry boys, that was whack. So are your hearts and minds clear? You got everything off your mind?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm satisfied and smiling.
All right, guys, real quick. I just want to shout out the two most important things in my world today. You've got this guy right here, Brett Favre. Thank you for watching over me, and God bless my country. So, guys, I just want to thank you all again
Amen.
for tuning in. Another awesome episode. We're going to have more content for you next week. We really appreciate your feedback, both positive and negative. Roast us, please, on our Instagram and let us know how we can get better. We have tough skin here. Guys, I just want to shout out my co-hosts real quick, Blake, Brian, and Cameron. Thank y'all so much. I want to thank y'all for your awesome insight here today. Let's see. I also want to shout out our new member today, Cameron's Fade. Looking tight, looking nice. Appreciate you stopping by,
See
hanging
him
out
in
with
episode
us,
3.
Fade. Yeah, guys, this is Garrett. We're Bona Fide Talk. We are signing off today. Thank you so much for listening. See you next time.
Let them know where we're
Yeah.
at. We're on Spotify, YouTube,
yeah.
Anchor. We're all over the place. Streaming live on Twitch. So check us out all the platforms.
Right on. Follow us on
Instagram.
Spotify. Subscribe. Listen. Let us know,
Bonafide
guys.
Talk. That's the handle you look up.
FT, baby.
Show
All
some
right,
love.
guys.
All right, guys.
Cheers to y'all.
Thanks for
Here's my
joining
cup
in.
of coffee.
See ya.
Have a good one.
Cheers, boys.
Peace.